You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the June 7th, 2023 meeting of the Michigan City Parks and Recreation Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening and welcome to the Michigan State Park Board meeting of June 7th. If you would stand and repeat the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you. Shannon, would you call the roll?
Mr. Priest,
Here.
Mr. Glidden,
Here.
Mrs. Sperling.
Here.
Yeah, the minutes from the previous meeting of May 17th. If there aren't any corrections, we have a motion to accept the minutes.
I would accept it. That's from May 17th.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Any project updates?
No, sir.
Old business. We have the accept the bids for the greenhouse office space lease. And the submission is closed. We have any?
Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to submit a bid? There are none. We did receive one proposal from Harbor Country Adventures. They are our current tenant. They're offering a base rent of $700 per month, which is $8,400 per year, and also offering the welcome center that they did last year with a proposed value of $71,553, so an annual total of $15,553.
Annual total of what? 15,000?
$15,553 combined, yes. And Mr. Thierry is here if the board has any questions for him.
The board have any questions?
Do we get a P&L on this contract? Is that part of this?
Profit and loss statement for his business?
Well, I mean, I thought there was something in one of our things that was required, but maybe it was for a portion of what he did. Was there something about that?
Not for this. This is just an office space lease.
Right.
Maybe you're thinking about the Millennium MOU or is actually running events. I think
Yeah. Okay.
that's where you ask for the,
Okay.
on the events that he ran in the closets.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't think we would need any type of his financial information. He's just leasing space. He's
Yeah.
making money off this.
Right. Okay.
So since the board only received one bid, you can either table it for review, you can accept it and instruct me to prepare the contract for your next meeting, either of those two.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Was there a lease in the past?
Yes, he's our current tenant under a 3-year lease with this board that expires, I believe it's April 6th of 2024.
This is the same tenant?
Correct. So it'd be the same 3-year lease, same terms, with the rental adjusted for the increased payment. An option to renew is annual. I will remind the board, Mr. Thierry would like a longer term lease, but anything over 3 years needs to go to the city council for approval. So this board kept it at 3.
So this is a new 3-year lease, is that correct, Shannon?
Correct.
Any other comments?
Mm-mm. No,
I would move that we accept those leases. What was that bid is proposed?
I'll second it.
I'm sorry, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and I will prepare a lease, have it reviewed by your attorney, and have it on the agenda for your June 21st meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Shin, the restoration license.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I would ask that the board would table this restoration license item on the agenda. I heard from the landscaping company who was supposed to procure the restoration license with the signature of the homeowners that want the work done, but they have not been able to gather all of the signatures.
Yep.
Hoping to have it next meeting.
Okay.
We have a motion to table the 6, A, B, and C.
Sure. I'll make a motion to table 6A, B, and C.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
New business. New business, we have the Stepping Stone Women's Shelter 5K run event, have the information in.
Yes, and they called us yesterday, notified us that at this time they're canceling the event. If they reschedule, they'll bring it back to this board.
So they're canceling the entire event.
Correct.
Okay.
I did have a comment about it. I know it's not going to happen now, but isn't that Labor Day weekend? Because I was concerned about us blocking off that intersection for
Yeah.
3 hours.
December 3rd.
Is that something we normally do?
We've done a lot of 5Ks on holiday and event weekends because they're usually out of here by 10 or 11.
Mhm.
So there's usually not a conflict with any other events or
Okay.
police traffic.
Okay. I was just curious.
They start at like 6, 7 in the morning.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's 7.
Okay.
Any other board comments?
Mm-mm.
Okay, with this being withdrawn, we'll not take action on that. The approval of the 2024 budget and capital request.
Yes, I did submit to the park board our 2024 budget, our capital requests, and then a budget narrative. The narrative kind of pulls any changes out of the budget. So I know they're kind of difficult to read. So this is more of a snapshot of what we're asking for this year. Today was the deadline to enter budgets into the controller system. However, we are not meeting with the controller and mayor until the week of July 10th. So this board does have some time if you'd like to table this for further review or set up an appointment with me to go over it. So I think my recommendation to you would be to actually table it. I know Mr. Glenn would like to set up a meeting and there's no rush at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it would be prudent if we get a motion to table.
I would motion that we table this till our next meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Michigan City Area School Summer Feeding Program.
Yes, this is an annual program that the school system hosts at a variety of our parks. This year, they chose Joe Hawkins Park and Tall Timbers Park as host sites. The feeding program is free to children 18 years of age. They're requesting use of the parks Monday through Friday, June 5th through June 21st. I will let the board know they already started this program on June 1st or 5th. They turned their request in late, but because they've been doing this for many, many years and we have insurance on file, I did told them to go ahead and do that because I think it's important to provide food to the children in these neighborhoods that don't have access. But they are asking for you to vote on this tonight.
Comments from the board?
Sounds good to me.
Any comments from the public? We have a motion to accept the proposal for the summer feeding program from Michigan City Area Schools.
I would move that we accept the proposal from the Michigan City Area Schools for summer feeding.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item is request to place a ram sculpture in Washington Park, and you received some information from Shannon, the Michigan City Public Art Committee, and also some pictures, not drawings, but actual pictures. That's a pretty big
So this
animal right there.
a substantial donation to the Michigan City Public Art Committee. The donation was accepted by the Board of Works this past Monday. The Public Art Committee looked for sites in Michigan City, and the majority vote at our meeting was to place it in Washington Park across the street from the zoo. I think this is a great location. It's high visibility. You have 100,000 visitors to the zoo every year. This is definitely a sculpture you want to walk up and experience. So we had a few locations, but they were more like drive-by. So I think this is a perfect spot for it. Again, high visibility. I'd like to thank Don Babcock for his donation and Roger Kerr. He's owns Blue Moon Vintage Market in Westville. He is not an artist, but he and Don somehow pulled this off. These are recycled pop cans that came from Mexico and were somewhat formed into a ram, but they did a lot of work to build the stone base, put a different finish on it. They actually hand painted the single hairs on the body. So they did an outstanding job, and the art committee is very happy to have this sculpture added to our permanent collection. And then I'd also like to note we are having a naming contest. So if you get on Facebook, put an entry in. We'd like to get the community's input. Then the Public Art Committee will choose 10 of those top names, our favorites, and put them back out for a vote. And we will choose the final name in August.
Is there any way that if an individual is not on Facebook that they can vote? Or
They can. So you can get an application at the park office here at City Hall, at the Lebesnick Art Center, or the Michigan City Public Library. I'd also like to note part of this donation is the installation of this piece. So this piece is very large. It weighs 3 tons.
Wow.
So the installation is significant. It takes a flatbed, a crane, and it's a piece we don't ever want to move again. So we're trying to find a permanent location.
I don't think it'll walk off either.
Huh.
A lot of pop cans. Any other comments from the board? Comments from the public? We have a motion to accept this.
I would move that we accept the ram sculpture in Washington Park.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, excuse me, next item on the agenda is a request to revise the 2023 golf fees. Mr. Shen?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. There has been a reason to believe that some of these fees should be revised, and our golf manager, Mr. Marty Neiman, is here tonight to answer any questions and explain his request.
Welcome, Marty.
Good evening, Marty Neiman, the GM of the Michigan City Golf Course. So, well, when we talk about lowering some fees, basically it's just kind of adjusting some. Last year, everything was presented as just let's raise everything 10%. And some of it seems like it's gotten a little bit too high for some of the course things that we do. One of them is the North Course has our cart fee at the North Course is $17, while the cart fee at the South Course is $19. Those are way too close together for the fact that the South Course is 6,000 yards and the North Course is only 3,300 yards. So one of the biggest, rumblings I've heard this year are the raise of the prices. And I'm not willing to go back down on everything, but there's just some areas that I think could be adjusted a little bit. So I'd like to adjust the North Course cart fee down to $14, which would then also make weekends only down to $33 with the cart, but better yet, $29 during the week, because for a par 3 golf course, $32 during the week, I feel was a little too high. So I'm just trying to help improve play there. Another one of the things I would like to do, and it's been done in the past, but I would like to be able to take our Tuesdays that are the slowest day of the week and apply a $25 special with the cart to help promote, fill up our Tuesdays again, because it's always been the slowest day of the week, and I'm just trying to increase play. And then I would also just like the just kind of a general ability to throw some specials in here or there where I see their slower play. We got a couple hour gaps early mornings where I can maybe adjust some prices to throw a special in to try to get more play. After the golf course has been open for a couple months, I see areas we could definitely pick up play by applying specials, getting maybe some people to play earlier in the morning. So I'm just trying to help in that part. And then one last thing I would like to talk about also is the Folds of Honor. I don't know how many people know anything about the Folds of Honor, but Skip from our supplier for all our merchandise in the pro shop, St. Andrews, he was going to try to be here to speak of this because he's kind of way into this. St. Andrews really promotes the Fold of Honor, and what it is, the Folds of Honor was started 14 years ago by a gentleman by the name of Dan Rooney. He is a PGA pro, but he was also an F-16 fighter pilot who did 3 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. And he got tired of seeing all the soldiers that were killed in war, and the kids left without much support. So he started the Folds of Honor to help the families of the fallen soldiers. So right now there are 4,000 golf courses in the United States that will donate part of their green fees either on Memorial Day or the 4th of July to help donate to this cause. The Folds of Honor is also given out over 40,000 college, they've given away 40,000 college to get kids to go to college. What I'd like to do is see if we can donate 25% of our green fees just on the 4th of July. We also, with them being our supplier, we also sell Folds of Honor merchandise. So we do this with them as well. So we'd just like to join the other 4,000 courses and be able to donate just 25% just on the 4th of July this year. Those are really kind of the 4 things I'm asking for.
For clarity, the reduction in fees for Tuesday, is that just the South course? Or is it?
Well, thanks. I would like to go to 25 on the South course and 20 on the North course to apply, that for both courses for one day, just on Tuesdays. Yes.
So the South is 25, North would be 20.
20, correct.
Any comments from the board or questions?
I have a couple. The 25% of revenue on July 4th, roughly what might that be? Do you have?
It just depends on the holidays. I mean, we've been open for 2 months, but I mean, it could be, $1,500, $2,000, depending how busy of a day we have.
Yeah. Okay.
So it would be a one-time a year thing.
Okay. The Tuesday thing, I think that's a great idea. I mean, I trust that you're there, so you know what's going on, and it is good to throw out specials to increase, play. Is that because we have just one fee, one rate for resident or non-resident at the golf course, don't we?
Yeah, right. Yeah, really our fees do not differ from resident or non-resident. It's just member or non-member. So we do not charge non-residents anymore.
Okay.
And I don't want to chase away the non-residents. I mean, we get a lot of people from out of town.
Yeah.
So I've got different feelings. I mean, residents feel like the price should go up for non-residents. Mm-hmm. But I think we get a lot because of the fact we're a very fairly priced golf course. So I don't want to really chase anybody away. But there are times when I could adjust rates a little bit here or there for specials.
Yeah.
Just from being there for a couple months now, I can see where that could help out.
Yeah. So I I would hope that that may be something that you would consider and the board would consider, because the golf course is our only venue in the whole park department where we do not have a different rate for non-residents.
Right,
Everything has, and it's a lot of times even double, whether you're
Right.
renting a shelter, whatever it is that you're doing. The zoo,
right.
there's a difference of $3 entry
Right.
fee. So
And, and obviously this is my first year out there, so I don't know why they
Sure.
have not had that.
yeah,
But I mean, we could have weekends where half our play is from non-residents, people coming over from Chicago,
mhm,
always talking about what great rates we have compared
Right.
to other area courses.
mhm.
So I don't really want to take that away and have them say, well, you're just raising your prices like everyone else.
Well, but and after looking over this budget, I think that is something that we really should consider. Obviously, not for this year. But
Yeah, it's something that we could definitely talk about for sure. But I mean, I already know for a fact the golf course is going to make a whole lot more money this year than previous years.
Good.
So, once we kind of see where all the money comes from, we
Yeah.
can talk about that for next year.
So in tying all that together, what I was going to possibly suggest, just let me know what you think of this, is that this special that you're going to have, what if we make the special just for residents? Just to create some sort of, something for the residents.
So can I comment on that? The reason
Sure.
that the golf course doesn't have a resident, non-resident fee structure is because they are not part of the city's operating budget. So the taxpayers are not supporting that particular fund. It's the golfers. The revenue that's brought in by the golfers, no matter where they're from, supports the expenses. So if you rent Memorial Hall, for instance, your tax dollars are going to maintain that facility, whether you use it or not.
Okay.
And that's why we give them a break. And that's the difference. All of our other facilities are in an operating fund with the city. This one is a self-sustaining, supported by its own golfer revenue,
Mhm.
not by taxpayers.
Thanks, Shannon.
You're welcome.
Okay.
So,
Mhm.
and again, these things could be looked at once we see how this year plays out.
Mhm.
But again, I know
Sure.
we get a lot of play from out of town because we are very fairly priced
Yeah.
in most areas.
Mhm.
So,
Now, I'm not saying we can't use that extra revenue. Just
Right.
clear. I was just explaining why it's different.
No, okay, that makes sense. And I actually didn't know that. So,
and with this year being different where I am a city employee, we will make more money just because we won't be giving money to the previous year's pro who got a portion of tournaments and outings, and all that will go to the city. So there's just different ways that the course will make a lot more money this year.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
that'll be noticeable as the year goes on.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe it's something that we can still talk about in the future.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Great.
I'm always looking for somewhere to improve it.
Yeah. Cool.
I just want legally, can we take the heat and go to a charity?
Yeah, I would want to make that decision tonight. That's not something. Microphone.
You bring the microphone down.
I can.
Yes, I would be comfortable making that decision tonight. It wasn't on the agenda.
Yeah.
It's not in the letter. Yeah, that's something I'm gonna have to look into. Now, that said, Mr. Glidden, what covers in that letter, certainly vote on today. If you choose.
I would suggest that we table to make sure it's legal to use the fees to give to a charity.
Yeah. Good idea.
25% for Fold of Honor.
Right. It's a great charity, but I don't know if we can legally do it.
Well, until we find out, then we need to not vote on that, but any other comments on the letter itself? Personally, I think that's a great idea for Tuesdays.
Thank you.
Mhm.
When
Me too.
play is usually slow. Anything to increase play.
Exactly.
And Mr. Vice President, if I may, Mr. Neiman, could you put together some information for us as well, so we can have that to look at, to distribute regarding the Folds of Honor prior to our next meeting?
I do not have anything on me now. Basically, again, the owner Skip of St. Andrews was going to call and speak in more behalf, and he might have more information, but he couldn't make it tonight. So I just said I would talk in his behalf.
I understand that. So if you could
Yeah.
get some information from him so that
Yes.
it can be sent to me and then to be circulated to the board, that would be
Not a problem. I can do that.
Yeah, we could have it by the 27th. Our next meeting
That's fine.
would be done before the 4th of July.
Yeah, that would work.
Any other comments?
Just on the second thing, we didn't talk about that the authority to make small changes here and there as you see needed. And I think that's more up to Ed and Shannon if that's your guys' call. I mean, I don't know exactly what you're talking about. So like how we had to talk about this, does that mean then moving forward that he would just make that decision himself?
No, so for audit purposes, that needs to be spelled out. So in the past, golf pros have had the ability to throw specials out there, but they were noted. So like right here, he's saying 25 on South Course, 20 on North Course.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Mhm.
But if he decides he wants to go 15 on the North Course on a random Wednesday,
Yeah.
that's not fine. Because in an audit, the auditors are going to go back to the minutes of this board and say there was no motion to approve that fee. So you can definitely do this because it's, you're looking at the exact numbers and voting on them. And if you wanted to do additional specials, you just need to note those. Like the board can give you permission to throw those in where you see that they're valuable.
Mhm.
The fee itself has to be documented.
Mhm.
So, I
So
mean,
right now you can't do anything other than the 25 to 20, changing the cart fees.
so what you're saying, like as of right now, if I see there's, early mornings that I'd like to make a special just to see how that works out, would I have to bring that to the board to get approval or just state the
What's
price?
gosh, just the price needs to be, like, if you're using this $20 and $25, yes, you can do that.
Right.
But if it's something beyond that, if it's a $15 or an $18, it has to go through this board.
Okay, so would that,
Not specifically when you apply it, just that they have approved the special fee for you to use.
so I'd have to do that first before I could start applying it, so.
Unless you know what they are off the top of your
No,
head now.
no, but I mean, being there every day, I just kind of see areas where I think I could really pick up play
Right.
in dead spots. And I was just hoping to get that approval, so I'm not having to come here constantly or you get sick of seeing me this year.
Yeah, no, they can just
But-
approve it one time and then you throw it in wherever you see fit.
Right. But I mean, but different times may be different numbers, just depending on the scenario, weekends or weekdays. And
So maybe a range
so,
that
Okay.
would not go below.
I mean, I wouldn't think it'd be anything that would change more than $10 per special. Or, I mean, I guess you could say 15. The Tuesday special is going to be a $16 difference. It's $41 and seniors are $33, but it would just make everybody $25. So I'm just looking to throw stuff like that in, if not less than that.
So the board could approve discounted rates as the golf pro sees fit, with a not to exceed. That would satisfy state board. So if you wanted to say not to exceed
$15.
$18,
Yeah.
15, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't golf, so I don't know.
well, come on out.
Yeah, my spare time. That's funny.
And I apologize. There is one other thing I had forgotten to mention, which I don't know how this price got different, but on our outings, weekend outings are $41 on Saturday or Sunday. And somehow the price got put in as the same price for a weekday outing, which is not anywhere near our prime times. And I've got somebody wanting to do Friday, but they're like, that doesn't make any sense to have the same price during the week, which it doesn't. So I'd like to be able to lower that down to 37, which was last year's price anyway. So basically we would just be taking off the 10% and giving somebody more incentive to have a weekday outing because our weekends fill up so fast. So I'd just like to go back to 37 on that as well.
Okay, so going back to the not to exceed, is there a not to exceed figure that you would propose? A discount of our normal rates not to exceed what,
We can go with $15.
15,
Yep.
or is it?
Yep.
And then does that have to be like, say, like a rate for, I mean, obviously everyone, it can't just be like for a group or
No,
it's,
anybody that wants to come
you know,
in with
whether
it
it's
for
a time
$25.
period or a day, or if you're like after 6 o'clock or however you want to word it.
No, it would just be an all-day special.
Yeah, okay.
So
So that's the limit that we're gonna
He
Put on
cannot
paragraph
discount
two, on
beyond
paragraph 2.
$15 to fill in
I
special.
mean, I guess you should probably put it at $16 because the Tuesday rate is really $16 lower from 41 to 25, so. And we don't need to go any lower than that, so.
16 as opposed to 15.
Yes, just because the $25 fee would be $16 less, so.
So if I can, just to clarify, Mr. Glenn, did you make a motion to table the 25% green fees on the 4th of July?
I will make that motion.
I didn't know if it was in the form of a motion, so let's take care of that business first.
Oh, then I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So then for clarification on the fees, I'm just going to run down this. You tell me if I'm correct.
Okay.
Weekday outings would change to $37. Weekends would remain at $41. Discounts would never exceed $16 off of our regular rates. Slow days, which is Tuesday now, but any slow day discounted rates at the South Course could be $25, North Course $20. North Course cart rates are lowering to $14 for 18 holes and $9 for 9 holes. And the North Course weekday rates would go down to $29.
Correct.
I would like to put that in the form of motion.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you, Marty.
And I'll get those figures in for the folds of honor so we can get that going for the 4th of July.
Comment from the public? I'm sorry.
We didn't have an opportunity for public to comment.
Comments from the public? I have one, or if you would like to, sir,
Wait
first.
to get the mic.
Okay.
All right.
Marty, I know that we speak more than once every day, but since we are talking about decreases, I want to ask you, do we have a decrease for veterans?
Actually, we do.
Okay,
Yeah, we have, it's a senior veteran combined.
okay,
Yeah, they're $8 less during the week. And then on the weekends, actually, they don't apply until after 2:00
okay,
because it is our biggest prime time of the week. So
okay. Thank you very much.
We
You
already
did a
have
great
one.
job organizing these decreases.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Welcome, Mr. McCormick. Would you state your name?
Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street, Michigan City. Just have a question about the maintenance of the golf course. Do park maintenance take care of that, or do the golf courses take care of their own maintenance out there when it comes to maintaining the golf course?
Correct. The park department does not maintain the golf course other than in the wintertime snow plowing. The golf course has its own maintenance department.
Okay, you just take care of the snow plowing,
Park department does when they can help, yes.
and that's tax dollars, correct? Thank you.
Any other comments before we move on? Next item is a request to allow dogs at Millennium Plaza.
Yeah, so this request was included in your packet. I talked to Mr. Thierry, I believe it was last week. A lot of people are coming to his new Sunday market. It's a cool thing, but they're bringing dogs with them. And I think a lot of it's because the culture around the marina is dog friendly. So I've outlined the map in orange of all the areas that surround Millennium Plaza that allow dogs. Mr. Thierry has done a fantastic job of furnishing our plaza, programming it, bringing events, bringing markets, and really livening up the place. I don't see any issues with allowing dogs in the plaza because it's monitored. He has staff down there all of the time. Again, these are mainly boat owners. They clean up after their dogs, their boats, their summer home. So I don't foresee any issues with dogs in this area. I do have some pet waste stations that were donated by Dr. Bailey of Michigan City Animal Hospital. He also donates the bags as long as it's not excessive. So I have a couple of those in stock. There are 2 located within that orange area that the marina takes care of. So I actually think that his request is a a good idea, makes the plaza a little bit friendlier, and it makes it less confusing for our staff or even the police department to patrol. It's very difficult to tell people if you step 2 feet outside of this parking lot, now you can't have your dog.
Yeah.
So in all honesty, nobody is controlling that part of the park. Everyone knows our police situation right now. This is the last thing on their agenda, is trying to patrol dogs down there. So I think it's a good idea. And I'd also like to know, you could do it on a trial basis for this year. If there's any issues that could be reconsidered.
Any board comments on the request? Comments? Well, it wouldn't be just the voters. It would be anybody could bring their dog there at any time.
Correct. So yeah, so like now I go to his market quite often, but I park in the orange shaded parking lot. My dog's allowed there. My dog's allowed everywhere. I just can't take him into Millennium Plaza. For me, I get that. I work here. But for other visitors coming in from out of town, they see all the voters' dogs. It just causes confusion.
Yeah.
And I don't see the downside to not allowing it. As I said, if it becomes an issue, the board just changes the rule.
I think it's a good idea.
Is there, I know there's a sign that no dogs allowed in the park as you enter through the main gate. Over here, next to parking lot, or the lot 1. Would we need to post a sign there that dogs are not allowed in the park there, since the orange part there they could have their dogs?
Correct. So our property's already marked with no dog signs.
We have
With
signs.
the exception of Millennium, we don't have any signs in that area. So it's never really been a big issue until the plaza got programmed, and now people are actually using it.
Any other board comments? Comments from the public?
Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street, Michigan City. Millennium Park is property of Michigan City Park Department. You allow dogs in there? If that's what you're going to do, you need to let dogs in every park in Michigan City. I would not like to see the dogs, because this is going to be a matter of time when somebody do something they shouldn't do, and it's going to ruin it for everyone. Unfortunately, I had one of my kids bit by a dog coming from the park. Didn't have nothing to do with the park, but most of our playgrounds or parks have no dogs allowed. You make an exception here, you need to make it for everybody. It's about fairness. I don't know why we think everything is a great idea. Maybe this is a good idea. But if you do it for one, you need to do it for all. You can't have one of your properties doing one thing and your other properties not allowing the same thing. That's confusion. But again, there's always people that come about that will always take advantage of these situations. The next thing you know, you got pit bulls, Rottweilers, German Shepherds, aggressive dogs. One mistake, all it takes, and you open yourself up to liability or somebody getting seriously hurt. There's a reason why you guys don't allow dogs on parks. I don't care who the person is. You shouldn't even think about even allowing this to happen. And you should talk to your insurance carrier and see what they think about it as well. I know everybody think everybody has the little bitty small dogs. It's, all of us don't have small dogs. Something bad's going to happen. I know it will. I had problems at Hassan Park. We have people walking pit bulls, unleashed. It's just nonsense. So if you do it for one, you need to do it for all of them. Thank you for the time and opportunity to speak.
Any other public comments?
Howdy, Mike, I got a big mouth. My mom would tell you that if she was still alive. My name is Victor Curie. I'm the owner of Harbor Country Adventure. I'm on my dock 7 days a week from Memorial Day to Labor Day, from 6 a.m. till usually 11 o'clock at night. Anybody who comes through there will see me. I personally don't care if you allow dogs or not in the plaza. And I understand this gentleman's thing because it is confusing if you have one section that does and doesn't. All I'm here to say is they're doing it. And if you're not going to figure out how to police it, and I see dogs in every park, all along the lakefront in the morning, residents walking their dogs. But if you're not going to enforce it, all I'm saying is because I'm doing some stuff down there, I just don't, this all came out because I thought dogs were allowed there. So for the market, I put dog friendly in an ad. I honestly thought it was dog friendly because you come down there's nothing but people walking with their dogs. You can't get, if you walk the lakefront, unless you double back, you can't make that circle around Millennium Plaza without cutting through the plaza. So if you go along Fish Camp and you walk along Trail Creek where we have this beautiful walkway with benches, your only choice is either go back over the same way you came, but nobody is. They're going through the plaza with their dog. So to me, pardon the pun, I don't have a dog in the hunt. I just don't want enforcement to fall on me to say, well, you're having this market and here's somebody with a dog, because that's not my job to enforce the ordinance of Michigan City. And I don't want to be picking fights with people every day because you have that map in front of you. There are 700 boaters in a marina that every inch around that plaza is dog friendly. And it's very confusing when you step literally a foot over and now you can't have your dog there. So it doesn't matter to me whether there's dogs allowed or not. I can see the confusion maybe that people would have if you said, well, this is now, and then some people say, well, what about the park that's by my house? I'd like to walk my dog in that park. And I can totally understand how people would see that. And once again, it doesn't matter to me. I just don't want to be the one that the city's looking at, like, why aren't you enforcing this dog rule? Because it's not my rule to enforce. That's all I got to say.
Jerry, I don't think this board expects you to police the area, but thanks for clarification.
Yeah, no, I didn't realistically think you did. I just didn't want anybody to come down too and say, well, look, here's this guy who's doing things and you have a tour boat here, and well, surely you can see those people with the dog. I don't want people to think that I'm just, not paying attention. I am, but I don't know how you explain that to people. Like, hey, if you move 2 feet over, you can keep that dog right there. But if that leash is a foot longer, now he's on a different piece of grass and he can't be there. And, as far as the liability goes, I don't really know what your insurance covers. I know I provide a $2 million policy that covers any event I do in that plaza. So if something happened during the time I'm running programming, I've already given the city plenty of insurance and coverage. So
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Well, I know that visiting the park frequently, there are a lot of people who evidently can't read that tough word no and dog, because I see consistently people walking their dog on the beach, especially early in the morning. I don't see that they have any bags to collect the waste of the dogs. I'm down there during functions. I was down there a couple Sundays ago for 8 hours for a volleyball tournament, and I lost count. I ran out of toes and fingers of how many dogs I saw walk along there. So I'm not sure that we can enforce anything as far as, because we're not doing it. I approached a couple people and they wanted to fight. I told them I wasn't going to fight them because their dog was ugly and so were they, but that's beside the point. That's people. And again, I don't know how we would enforce it. Fortunately for the neighborhood parks, I think the people police themselves pretty good. I go by Pullman Playground probably 2 or 3 times a week, and they do a nice job of cleaning it up. 8th Street, the ladies there are really stewards of the park. So as far as this dog issue goes, I don't know, again, how we can control that. And then we get, well, that's a service dog. I have to have it because otherwise I'm psychologically might kill somebody, or I'll cry, or whatever the reason might be. And we do have a lot of service dogs. I go to church and there's one that sits behind me every week. Doesn't say a word, but it's there. But it's a service dog. So I don't know how we differentiate between those. So that's my comment that I just have a lot of trouble with people who can't obey rules and laws.
Do you have a legal opinion on it?
This is an issue that everybody is struck, right? People will not abide by the signs. We've had other community members come and share their concerns about this as well. I think it's wonderful that we have Mr. Thierry, who is there on the spot, that can help to, well, sorry, we're not pinning this on you, but he at least is a visual. He can at least report if there's a problem. I think that more importantly, Ms. Eason's suggestion was a good one, right? If we wanted to try it, we may be able to do that. Again, pleasure of the board, but if that's something you want to try on a trial basis, that's something that can be done. There's no way to anticipate all of the things that could go wrong, but it's already happening and we haven't had any reports of any. I'm not certain about Mr. McCormick's reference. I don't think that we do allow dogs on every park, but there are some of the parks that do allow dogs, correct? And that is, well, there's signage to reflect that. So I'm not certain that that is a problem necessarily. But sure, is there a liability attached with dangerous dogs? Do we have dangerous dog laws in Indiana? Absolutely. Most of that will fall on the owners, but have to wrestle. We can't hypothetical each one of these scenarios, so not in a position to do that right now. But just more things to consider. Yes, please.
I just want to come back on just to hit on that real quick, if you don't mind. Victor Thierry again, Harbor Country Adventures. The dangerous dog thing doesn't really hold any water because if you're walking a dangerous dog, you're already down there. The only difference is you don't know if you can move 2 feet to your left or your right with your dog.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. I was referring to the definition, the legal definition of a dangerous dog.
Yes,
It's a dog that has bitten somebody or another domestic pet.
I see people walking all sorts of dogs down there. They're not going to stop walking because we have this beautiful, spectacular waterfront that people, I like seeing people sitting in the benches with their dogs. But saying that Millennium Plaza is not dog friendly, the dog's there. You can't get into the plaza without walking past that dog if they're along the waterfront. That dog just doesn't know it can't move 2 feet to the left.
And the owner doesn't either.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and that's
I wasn't raising that point because I'm not suggesting that there are dangerous dogs there. It's just you wouldn't be able to identify them visually, right? You wouldn't know if a dog bit another dog 3 years ago or 4 years ago. So it just adds to the gray area. Is there a lot of it? Certainly. So it would be helpful for us to see what other communities are doing. Right, that listserv might be a great way to do that, see how other parks are addressing this, but we certainly have the problem with enforcement. We can't have officers everywhere to enforce these types of things. So if people are doing it now and it's being done peacefully and respectfully, and then Shannon has she's got the donation, which also plays to the advantage, but I don't have a dog in this hunt either. So.
Excuse me, but I think that a few of you people hit the nail right on the head. The fact is, like Mr. McCormick says, if you let one park do it, the other park's going to want to do it. The problem we have here is we have a parcel of land that's adjacent to the marina where they already allow dogs. So I think it's going to be difficult, but I will try to find out where there might be a similar example of adjacent properties having this problem.
If you don't mind, briefly, Rodney McCormick, 617, real quick. The fact that you have no dogs allowed at the park, that kind of lets you off the hook for liability. Now, if you vote and agree, you're going to have dogs at a park. Now you open yourself up to now you're responsible. We can go back and forth with the law and all that if you want to, but there is a standard. And if you say you're going to allow them to come in, that's a different thing. But if you got the dog sign there and they come anyway, and they did it and they violated the law, the person with the dog is liable. But if you turn it off and say, hey, you can come in, It's a different standard. And that's all I want to add to that. Thank you. And I'm sorry for getting back up with something.
Any other comments?
I'll make a comment. I just visited my daughter in Austin, Texas, and there's more dogs than babies in that town. Everywhere you go, everyone brings their dog. They bring 2 or 3 dogs to a restaurant. I mean, it's just everywhere. And that's not just there. I mean, it's just happening in the world. Everyone is loving their dogs and has 1 or 2 or whatever. And, you know, we are in a situation where we do need to bring revenue into the city and the park. And the more rules we have like that, the less revenue we're going to bring in because everyone's got a dog. And most people, I think, who are bringing dogs have good dogs. I mean, I've had a Rottweiler, I've had a St. Bernard, and I would never bring either one of those dogs to Millennium Park because they would not be nice. And, you know, I think most people that are bringing dogs to these things are just they're little dogs or they're labs or whatever. They're not dogs that are going to bite. And I mean, I know you can take that chance. I understand that, and you're putting yourself out there, but we're putting ourselves out there every single day for liability in some way. So we can't just hide from that. I just think this is a way of life right now, and I think it would help to attract more people even to Michigan City. And I think, like you said, Lori, just give it a shot and just see how it goes. You know, so that's my opinion.
Is there a no dog policy in all parks?
No, Canada Park, we allow dogs in Canada Park and have stations for them.
We have several park properties that allow dogs. So 37 acres at Memorial Park is dog friendly. Winding Creek Cove is dog friendly. Canada Park is dog friendly. Ruby Woods is dog friendly. Any of our properties that have walking recreational trails, dog friendly. Singing Sands Trail, dog friendly. Our insurance carrier is aware of all these properties. It's not an issue. So we've been dog friendly for going on 3 years now. I have not heard one single report from any of those properties or the trails that I just mentioned. Again, you can always pass a rule and then take it back later if an issue comes up. But we do have many facilities right now that we're not having any issues with.
That's good to know.
Any other comments?
Nope.
What's the pleasure of the board?
I so move that we approve to allow dogs at Millennium Plaza.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is that a trial basis?
Yes.
If there's an issue, we can bring it back and put it back to your agenda.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We have 2 items, G and H, that did not make the agenda. Mr. Shin, you want to address the emergency that we have?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. This is regarding the golf course, the emergency prevention of golf course grounds deterioration. Before you is a letter explaining the situation and why it is a purchasing method that impairs the functioning of the agency. On May 21st, 2023, 1 day prior to the commencement of the contractual work that the spray technician was going to do according to the contract you approved in our last meeting, it turns out that he withdrew from the contract. So the Parks Department has located an experienced, licensed spray technician to fill this position. The emergency has increased in magnitude, and the threat of losing 20 acres of golf course turf grows exponentially every day. The Parks Department cannot wait for the green superintendent position to be filled. We must expeditiously hire on a contractual basis to prevent catastrophic loss and damage to the city's 36 greens and fairways. And I ask the board that you approve this reason for the emergency purchase.
Comments from the board? I think it's imperative that we
Yeah.
make sure that greens and fairways stays the great shape that they've been in the last couple of years.
It will prevent disease and damage, yes.
Comments from the public? Well, discuss the gentleman after we have a motion to accept this emergency prevention.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item H is a professional service agreement with the new individual. And he also has, we also have a copy of his license. Mr. Shen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Yes, this is a professional service agreement that is from our template and has been filled in very similar to the John Marshall contract from the last meeting. It has been reviewed and approved by our attorney, Mrs. Nurnberg. And he is highly recommended, and we're lucky to have found him so the golf courses will not deteriorate. And I ask that you approve this contract. It's already been signed by the prospective spray technician.
We've already voted on the emergency issue. Any comments about this professional service agreement? And again, it's very similar to what we had with Mr. Marshall.
Yeah, no questions.
Comments from the public?
Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street. Is this contract being paid by public dollars or the golf course?
Golf course budget.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions from the public? Anyhow, this looking over this license looks valid and has certificate of liability insurance.
Yes, sir.
There aren't any questions. You have a motion to go ahead and offer this professional service agreement to Mr. Staley.
I would move that we accept the professional service agreement.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Report of officers. The superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. This evening, I would like to report on youth baseball, the golf courses, Washington Park Zoo, City Kids Day Camp, and the Senior Center. Youth baseball. The youth baseball director, Carrie Kaczynski, reports that we're in the second week of our 13U, 10U, and 8U baseball leagues, with T-ball starting this week. 10U and 13U are going great. We've had some close games already in both divisions. Umpires are doing well also. We've trained one new umpire and have added a few more experienced umpires. Umpires should not be an issue this year. Our 8U division has had a few issues with an overzealous parent, but we have addressed this situation. Parent and player same team requests seem to be an issue with some of the coaches this year. We may consider eliminating same team requests next year, except for coaches and their children. Same team requests is because these children are so young that the parents sometimes request their child being on the same team as their friends to assist with carpooling. But sometimes we get coaches that might think that the team is being stacked. So to eliminate any type of confusion or problems, we may discontinue that, and next year have just the coaches and their assistant coaches let their kids play for that team. And then the remainder of the team would be randomly selected. T-ball had a few issues on the first night, but Mr. Kaczynski addressed them, the issues, and hopefully the issues, and hopefully he won't have these issues anymore this season. We didn't have enough coaches sign up for the 13U season, so Mr. Kaczynski has been coaching a team at games and practices while also running the leagues. Mr. Kaczynski has had a couple of dads step up and help him, so hopefully with their work schedules, and if they allow, they can take over before the end of the season. We will be addressing having umpires for 8U games as the games get pretty intense for next season. The golf courses, Golf manager Marty Neiman reports that for the past few weeks, we have had beautiful weather and lots of play for both north and south courses. So far on the weekends, we constantly run out of carts on both courses. Last month, we permanently lost our green superintendent and assistant superintendent. Just a couple of days ago, we have replaced our assistant superintendent, and we are about to sign a contract to have someone spray for the rest of the year until we find a new green superintendent. The maintenance department could still use a few more seasonal labors. Inside the pro shop, Marty Neiman reports that they have all their positions filled and things are going well. We have the beverage cart out on the course 4 days a week, making the golfers happy, and all his clerks, he says, at both courses are doing a great job. Debbie is still running the snack shop and making great sandwiches. The Washington Park Zoo, Jamie Huss reports that the zoo had record attendance and sales at Memorial Day weekend. We want to thank Peepers, Dwyer Instruments, and Holiday Construction crews for donating their time and talents around the zoo during community volunteer days. The Zoological Society hosted a brew at the zoo. I attended that, and it was a fantastic party, if you want to call it. Everybody was in their best behavior, and I would go to that again. The zoo passed a pop-up inspection by the USDA with 0 non-compliance issues. With school out, more seasonal positions have been filled. One of the zoo's 8-year-old wolves was diagnosed with advanced bone cancer, so he is being closely monitored and treated with pain and anti-inflammatory medications, as well as receiving extra keeper care and his favorite foods. So I'll give you updates on Odie and how he's doing. The small safari train ride at the zoo broke an axle over Memorial Day weekend, and we are working to get it repaired and reopened. Zoo camps are almost filled, so if anyone is interested, please visit the zoo website for details. City Kids Day Camp. City Kids Day Camp. Last week, we had the training for the City Kids Day Camp staff. This is a report that reflects the hard work of Shannon Eason and Dominic the intern, by the way. We arranged transportation through the Michigan City Area Schools Transportation for weekly field trips to the Michigan City Public Library, starting June 14th through July 12th. We scheduled 2 field trips to Washington Park Zoo with the zoo director, Jamie Huss. We coordinated with the USDA's Summer Food Service Program, MC Area Schools, Lake Hills staff to offer our campers free breakfast and lunch for the duration of the City Kids Day Camp program. We inventoried equipment and created schedules for the campers to participate in several different sports and arts and crafts activities. This week, we have our first 3 days of City Kids Day Camp, and we have a total of 40 campers registered so far, with more registering daily. The Parks and Recreation Department is excited to be offering this program that keeps Michigan City's youth active. And I would like to state that Mrs. Eason has done all of the interviewing and hiring of the so needed directors and supervisors. And with the help of Dominic, the intern, they got City Kids Day Camp back on track as the public really wanted. The Senior Center. Tara Miller, the director of the Senior Center, reports that the highlights of the past month from May 9th to May 24th, the Seniors Incorporated received over $900 from Hacienda's Give Back Night that will support senior programs. The Senior Center hosted Spring Game Night and had 85 people attend the fundraising event. 40 seniors went to Drury Lane Theater in Illinois to see the musical Grease. The Senior Center hosted our first volunteer luncheon in 3 years to honor all the volunteers over the past year and present awards to those exceptional volunteers through our Volunteer of the Year awards and our Angel Awards, which is given out to those with 200 hours donated in 2022. Mayor Perry, Ed Shin, and Mr. Vice President Phil Freeze were in attendance. I thought it was a great ceremony. It was a pleasure. This is catered. It had a catered lunch. It was a big event to celebrate, honor, and appreciate the volunteers. The senior center hosted nurse practitioner Christine Maddox as she gave a presentation on vertigo, and 15 members attended. Senior center member Linnea Hinchman gave a presentation on birds and wildlife of the Antarctica, her third presentation in a series of birds around the world. And this concludes my report. Thank you.
I have a question on the youth baseball, 8U. Is that still T-ball?
No, that's got a pitching machine and
Pitching
sometimes,
machine.
oh, right.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering about umpires, I don't know. I was in this game a long time. It doesn't make any difference if you have umpires or not. You gotta argue.
You would think so,
Yeah.
yes.
8U, huh?
And we've gone back and forth in years. We've had umpires and we stopped having them thinking we didn't need them. And then now we feel that we might have a need for them again. So it's something we're going to be discussing in the future. We'll probably be asking you a lot of questions.
Anyhow, thanks to the fathers and mothers who step up and help coach, taking their time. I know they'd probably be there, watch their sons and daughters play, but to actually get involved, really thank them for that. And also Mr. Krasinski, he really holds a lot of hats with our baseball program here in Michigan City. And the senior center, I was so impressed that Tara decorated the tables. Actually, I thought it was at a gala. You really, those of you who have a chance when she's hosting something, I would just go down there. It's beautiful. Any vandalism?
There was some slight vandalism at the pier head. There was some graffiti painted on the pier head, the lighthouse.
They're going to get that off.
Yes, we take turns with the Port Authority. I'm not quite sure whose turn it is yet, but it's always taken care of, yes.
Any other comments?
With splash pad, we're gonna mention splash pad.
Yes, the splash pad right now is during the phase of hooking up the features. I know that I made the comment that it might be open on that it would be open on Memorial Day. However, as I mentioned in the past meeting, the water meter took 3 months to come in after it was ordered. So that's something that we did not anticipate. But the testing will begin next week because now the water is ready to be turned on, but the features have to be connected by the maintenance crew. And I'll report to you on how the testing results went. And as soon as it's all hooked up and the testing passes, then we'll talk about when it will be open.
Cool.
Questions for him? Any other questions? Thank you, Ed. That's a very thorough report. Have Planning Commission, Mr. Lester is not here. Port Authority, I was unable to make the meeting this Monday, but they did have a meeting. I don't know that I missed anything. Did I miss anything at your meeting? And Zoological Society, Mr. Glidden.
The Zoological Society put on a brew at the zoo last weekend. It went very well. The zoo was beautiful. The big cat exhibit is beautiful. The new sidewalk is a big improvement. I want to thank the members of the Zoological Society for their hard work. I want to thank the zoo staff for working late that night. They don't normally work, that many people work that late. I want to thank them for their hard work. The Zoological Society is going to put on a 5K run. It'll be their 25th anniversary of the 5K run on Sunday, July 9th. Sponsorships are available to businesses. You can get a logo on the back of the t-shirt. On July 22nd, they have a boat cruise from 3:30 to 6. And the tickets are $50, and more information will be coming about that. The Zoological has their website up and running. That's my report.
Thank you. Attorney's report, Mr. Noah.
Thank you, Mr. Freeze. I have nothing to report.
Okay. Shannon, any director's reports?
No, sir.
Mr. Glidden, Department of Finances.
Oh, brother.
All right.
Have the Michigan City Park Department claims docket for June 7th, 2023. Municipal, $122,645.21. Golf petty cash, $3,661. $1,000,000.30. Total claims, $126,306.51. I would move that we pay the claims of June 7th.
Second.
2023.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The payroll for payroll number 10 for 2023, April 30th through May 13th, pay date 5/13/2023. And the total payroll, $84,878.10. And I would move that we make the payroll.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Gifts and donations. Kappa Kappa Zoo donation miscellaneous $50. Anonymous Zoo donation $20. Anonymous Zoo donation for the coin racer $24.33. And I would move that we accept these gifts and donations.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Yep.
Okay, thank you for the report. Do we have any comments from the public? Good evening.
Good evening, good evening. My name is Demir Lee, from Lee and Murphy Stoke Homes. I've been approved by the Board of Works to have a permit with the state. I also have my insurance on file, and I am exempt from the health inspection. I want to ask the board, can I set my stand up on the beachfront to sell snow cones? I'm also been approved to participate in the Singing Sand sculptures as well too. I have all the legal documents to operate. The park district would not be liable at all because I have my own insurance and everything. And this is prepackaged things.
So that would require a concession agreement with this board. You would need to turn in a proposal to the superintendent, who would get all the questions answered, prepare the agreement. Our attorney approves it, and then it's presented to the board.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, just as a point of clarification, where would your location be on the beachfront?
It'd be like right off the sand.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Because I had operated down there for a couple of years until it was brought to my attention that I couldn't. And I went and got a contract signed with Patches Bar and Grill because they supplied me with Gatorade, water, pops, and stuff as well too. So I have a contract already with them that they supplied me with.
With Patrick's?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for clarifying that. Hopefully you give him the form before he leaves so he won't forget about it. Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street. I hear about this big project about Fellows Alley. Not against it. I really don't care what you guys do out there, but our neighborhood parks are terrible. This reference to just Oak Hills is terrible. I don't know why somebody won't go out there, but I will put a photo display out for you guys at your next meeting. You will have it. We have fences that are tore down, trees that are liability, branches falling off trees every day out there, just about. Fences are down, backstops damaged. It just seems troubling that when we come into our community, and I'm talking about the Black community, our playgrounds look the way they look. Some playgrounds look the same way I look when it looks when I was 12 years old playing on these playgrounds. Not a lot of improvement to those playgrounds. I look at Gardena Park, and we have a lot of our kids that leave out of Canada, Eastport, West Side to go to Gardena Park. They don't go there to fight. They go there because the parks are better in that neighborhood. Why? How much longer will it take for you to realize that we want to be treated the same. We want our parks to be updated. Why we can't have glass backboards? We have some basketball courts that are past regulations, humps, broken glass. Some parks don't have lights. Back to the park where I live over Hanson Park. Pitch black. We just had a shooting over there this week. I keep coming before this board. I don't come a lot, but I come before the Board of Works. I try to address this with the superintendent. I try to follow the chain of command. Now I'm here talking to you, Mr. President. It's time to take time out and go look at some of these parks. Ridgeland Playground. Now I think it's called the Ridgeland Street, Ridgeland Avenue Playground. It's outdated. It's terrible. If you're not going to update them, just close them. Take down everything and just sell the land. But it's a travesty to continue to think that our kids are going to just keep coming to these parks and dealing with this. When it's going to be over, I don't know the exact number, but it's in the millions for what you're going to do out there. And I'm talking about Washington Park. We can take some of this money and do some things in these other playgrounds as well. Ms. Easton already told me that they had plans for Oak Hills, but that's talk. I just hear talk. That's one of the most busiest playgrounds that we have. It's time to have off-street parking there. We at the King Center, we don't mind the city coming down there parking. We do have problems with other people coming down there parking because they leave our parking lot a mess. But these are things that need to be addressed and changed. I'm 56 years old. I'm from Victory Street. I used to live right across the street from the playground. It looks the same. Off-street parking, new basketball court, move the basketball court, another overhead. We have all the equipment to do most of the earth moving. I just don't understand why we're doing this. I don't understand why we continue to be neglected in our neighborhoods. It's sad. It shouldn't take this long to make these changes. 56 years old now. I just want something better for my kids and my grandkids. You owe it to us. We vote. We pay our property taxes. What more do you want us to do? I don't take my dogs to the park because it says no dogs at the park. When I see trash in the park, I pick it up. When I see problems at the park, I call the police. Kids come to the park now and they just want to smoke marijuana or get in trouble because there's nothing at the park to do. All the trees laying down in the water and stuff that we can take care of, we just don't take care of because it's not a priority for you guys because you don't live there. We want all of our parks in Michigan City to look like Gardena Park. Mr. Shin, before you leave, you need to make sure that we make significant changes in these parks. I do believe wholeheartedly that it will probably be a change in leadership in Michigan City. I don't know what that's going to do to this board, but you owe it to all of us to make life better for all of our kids, and not a select few. I'd like to thank you guys for the opportunity to speak. You guys you do a great job hosting your boards, allowing us to come and speak. I greatly appreciate it. But now I need to see some action. I need to see some things done. And maybe you can go back and beg them to give you some of that ARP funds for the park. I don't understand why the park is not giving more money than what it is. When I spoke about this last time, a lot of people jumped down my shirt and said that you guys get more than enough money. I can't see that happening, but we got to work together and we got to get light. We got to get lights at Hanson Park, please, Mr. Shin. I keep bringing this. I'm going to keep coming. This is just problems. So thank you for the opportunity to speak. And
Mr. McCormick, we did get a light installed at Hanson Park, NIPSCO installed.
It's pitch black over there. I believe this Corporal Captain Wright will also contest to that as well. It's just maybe because if you have time, Michigan City is very small.
Just ride by the park and look and just say, hey, up at the top, why is it so dark over here? I just maybe just look, I don't know. I just think that we can do better. No, I know we can do better. And we need to make priority, we need to spread the money around to everybody. Because everybody wants parks to look like Gardena Park. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Vice President, I'd like to address Mr. McCormick's remarks. We've had this conversation several times regarding Oak Hills Park. We do have $100,000 in our 2023 capital budget this year for Oak Hills. We are waiting for CDBG grant funds to be released, which will be August 1st. So those two funds combined is a $225,000 upgrade project. I continue to seek grant money to make this an even better project, which I'm always doing with our playgrounds. So this park is funded. I disagree that we have not upgraded our parks. We've done 7 in 9 years. All of them, with the exception of Gardena, have been in lower income neighborhoods, most of them using grant dollars and not taxpayer dollars. In fact, right now I'm working on Water Tower Park. It's $750,000 neighborhood park project with 0 taxpayer dollars. It's all grant funded. So when we continue to have the conversation that the park department is not upgrading our parks around the city, you need to get the facts straight. I have sent you our upgrade list and the plans for each park and which year they fall in, if they're funded or not, or if they've been completed. That's public knowledge. Anyone that wants to come into my office and discuss this, I'd be happy to, but I take offense to the fact when you say that we're not working on it, because I have spent the last 8 years working diligently on keeping this list on track, even through COVID, and getting funding from outside the city coffers.
Yeah.
Forgive me. Tough talk don't get nothing done. Ridgeland Street, Ridgeland Avenue Playground looks the same. Nothing has been done. So the parks that I am speaking about, nothing has been done. Now, if they're going to get done, I'm just saying to you guys, let's get it done. So all this attitude and getting mad, I'm a taxpayer. Take my tax dollars. I pay property taxes. Use my tax dollars. That's all I'm saying. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Not mad. It's just we've had this conversation and you've been given the information.
And I will keep coming back.
Keep coming back. I'll have the same answer.
But yeah, I'm not the new mayor, so every day's going to be good.
Any other comments? Motion to adjourn?
I would move that we adjourn.